You might think our planet being a fetus inside a womb, that's madness. And if you're unsure how our planet could be a fetus inside a womb, you should watch my previous video first. After you watch it, if you still think a womb for our planet is madness, then you'd be right. Because the womb itself is nature's madness. Having an organism see light and hear sounds and interact with all the organisms around it was what it was made for. But you take that organism and you put it inside a dark bubble. Before it even knows anything about the light or the sound, now that's madness. And yes, the fetus can still hear inside the womb and recognize light, but nowhere near the amount that's waiting just around the corner. We are normal creatures inside an abnormal world because the situation our planet is in is not what it was made for. And the limitations imposed on our planet are affecting everyone and everything. But this current madness is only temporary. Like any other womb in history, when you're getting your life from an outside source, you know it needs to end at some point. And it doesn't matter how big this womb is in relation to us, because you know what? Your brain cells might have thought the exact same thing about you. Do you think they believed you were inside the womb when you reached that critical point in your fetal development? Or maybe you don't even think your brain cells can think. A bit of a paradox, huh? Brain cells that can't think? But the truth is, you don't think your brain cells are anything like you. You think they just came with the territory, a bundled biological package deal that you've been enjoying since the moment you got here. So let's just pretend for a moment that your brain cells can see you. You might think that they would see a person because you see yourself as a person, but they won't. They're going to see you as a planet. You are a planet to your brain cells in the exact same way Earth is a planet to us. But at the same time, Earth is also a tiny fetus to the folks of the same planetary scale. You see, a brain cell, a person, a planet or star, and a galaxy are all the same thing. Our planet will see us the same way we see our brain cells. Our planet will look like a planet to us, but at the same time, this huge planet will look like a tiny brain cell to our galaxy, or anyone else who inhabits the scale of our galaxy. We are to our planet what our brain cells are to us. We are this planet's brain cells. We are this planet's cerebral cortex, the smart part of our planet's brain. The other animals and other organisms found on the surface of our planet are all brain cells belonging to different parts or layers inside the Earth's brain. You've got these layers inside your brain too. The size and speed of each scale, or what an organism looks like at every scale, going from brain cells to planets to galaxies, this will all change depending on the scale of the observer, depending on who you're asking. If we ask each other, we're all people. If you ask our planet, we are all brain cells. If you ask our brain cells, we're all planets. Now at this point you're probably thinking, what the heck is this guy saying? Because brain cells and planets don't look anything like us. And you'd be absolutely right. Of course they don't. We won't be able to see any life that resembles our own, not because the life is not there, but because our planet has been isolated from all life from the moment it was made. I mean, it would have been a pretty shabby womb if the fetus's brain cells, i.e. us, could see the life all around them. The only concept we really need to grasp here is that whatever is visually out there, whatever we can see, has more to do with where we are on this developmental ladder and less to do with what's actually out there. We will, for example, never ever be able to see other people or any other living organism on the surface of any other planet out there, despite the fact that all of these planets are bursting with life, because seeing them is exactly like one person here seeing another person's brain cells. We don't have visual access to each other's brain cells under normal conditions, so it's about time we realize the exact same restrictions apply when one planet is exposed to another. We see what our planet sees when looking out into space. So seeing organisms on the surface of other planets means we'd be looking at these planets' brain cells. And that's something we just can't do. So it doesn't matter how much we keep searching for life on other planets, we will never have access to it because our planet doesn't have access to it. But access is one thing, and life is something else entirely. We can't forget that our limitations are specific to our current situation. And just because we're in isolation doesn't mean these spheres all around us don't have life. And the fact that you're even pondering this possibility means we might be getting closer to something almost unimaginable. Something that each and every brain cell inside the brain of a growing fetus is waiting for, but without knowing what it's actually waiting for, without knowing it's even waiting. The birth of our planet is a reality that we've been on a collision course with since the moment we got here. And it will change our reality into something very different to what we experience today. Do you know why we see spheres all around us? Why the Earth we belong to can be a fetus and at the same time look like a sphere? Is nature giving us a not so subtle hint? All these spheres in every direction, all of these planets and stars, are we meant to understand something about our own existence and what we actually look like? Living planets and stars with hands and arms and legs, and at the same time, they all look like spheres. You think you look different to all these planets and stars, don't you? What if this exterior that you've gotten yourself so used to is not really who, what, or even where you are?